Amiibo Nuzlocke. Let me explain the rules. I will face every raid boss amiibo that I have, starting with the worst one and working my way all the way up to what I deem is my best raid boss amiibo. I can use every single character on the roster, but once they lose a single time, they are no longer usable for me for the remainder of this challenge, and if I have no characters left, well then I lose this challenge. I am able to use every item, but only a single time use per item, no matter if I win or lose the match that the item is associated with. With that being said, let's begin. Alright, roster and item update time. Last episode, for the character side of things, the ones that we lost included Robin, Bowser, Ice Climbers, and Terry. A lot of those are a lot of my more played characters, so a lot of those losses do hurt me in this challenge. But as for the items, the ones that I can no longer use, those include the Home Run Bat, which came in clutch, the Super Mushroom, and the Bumper. Alright, now let's get on to this week's action. Alright, listen up. There's gonna be no fake out this time because Banjo is here and he's raring to go for the Amiibo Nuzlocke. So with Banjo being one of my most played characters, I had the utmost confidence that this duo could rack up at least a couple of wins for me. And well, we started strong as Duck Hunt ended up up-specialing himself into a vulnerable spot, so I had to make him pay. Now, one of the few tricks that this old dog does know is down air, and unfortunately, I couldn't avoid it. Now, if you would think that that's one of the few tricks that the Duck Hunt amiibo knows, I should learn not to put myself in situations where I can get caught in a down air, but I guess that was a lesson I hadn't quite learned yet. But in the waning moments, Duck Hunt once again did an up special oopsie, so I had to chase after him to tell him that he's a bad dog for that. But I ended up getting caught in a smash attack, and Banjo took the L. Alright, for my second chance against the goodest of boys, I ended up choosing to play Dark Pit. Now, why did I choose Pit 2 in this situation? I honestly don't know. He's not a character I play too often, or even seldomly play. But for some reason I just had a gut feeling, so I just kind of went with it. Now, things were okay, but I did land into this smash attack, which dropped me down to my final stock. But shortly after that, I had, I guess we'll say, a bit of dumb luck, where Duck Hunt once again forgot how to properly recover. So now it just kind of comes down to a winner-take-all final stock. And that's exactly what the dog and bird duo did, as they hunted down my final stock, meaning Dark Pit also takes the L. Okay, alright, enough of that. Enough losing, right? I guess the king needs to come in and, hopefully, save me. So here's what I did. I attempted a nice down smash. Then I decided to go for an off-stage back air. Then I went for another off-stage back air. I didn't quite hit the mark. Oh no! So then I just decided to go for a down air instead. Alright, moving on to our second opponent in this video. Took me 3 characters to defeat Duck Hunt. I don't know what that was about, but okay. Can King K. Rool continue sitting on the throne here, or is Cloud gonna try to take my crown? Well, let's just say I set the pacing for this battle by completely dominating the first few moments, showing Cloud that he's not in Kansas anymore. He's actually in Saffron City. But as the match kept progressing, I didn't want there to be any sort of nonsense, so I decided to blast Cloud into the stratosphere with another big smash attack.
You suck.
Then at the end of this day, or this match, I wasn't messing around anymore, and I just knocked Cloud around a little bit more before spiking him straight into the dirt, giving me 2 straight wins. Alright, Wario's my next opponent, and here's a little fun fact for everyone. I often struggle with Wario as my opponent. So I decided to change characters and I went into Ike. I figured maybe I had a chance to at least pick up one win with Ike, but I also decided to use an item for a little extra help, and that item was the banana gun. Now things didn't really start off too hot as I went for an offstage whatever, but I ended up missing my attack, and then I got nailed with a down air. Then after getting run over by Wario's bike, I was sent flying, but I decided, alright, gotta recover, right? So how about side special? But unfortunately, Wario timed my side special perfectly because I didn't do it into the side of the stage, and, well, this happened.
What?
Alright, now things are looking absolutely bleak, and they're about to smell a whole lot worse because I got caught in a Wario waft that absolutely nuked me, but I somehow survived it. And then I decided, oh, remember that side special I used earlier? Why don't I try it again? But again, Wario had the perfect read.
Everyone in McKinney is dead.
Okay, well, there goes another item and another character, so let's go with another item and another new character. This time, the item is in the form of a green shell, and I'm swapping back into, well, I guess he's not a new character, but I'm swapping back into King K. Rool. Now, I did have a nice small sequence of attacks that ended with a forward smash, taking Wario down to his final stock. Alright, a little bit later, Wario, I knocked him off stage, so he hopped onto his motorbike, so I tried to meet him with a down air, but he managed to just barely jump over me, and he hit his own down air. And then, finally, I did manage to get Wario in my blunderbuss. I shot him out, and it was just far enough to where he couldn't recover. Also, I guess the green shell never really came into play in this match, so the item kind of got wasted, but I still got the win. So the next raid boss amiibo that I'm facing is me, Gunner, or Cuphead here, and the way I've built him is he spams projectiles all the time, and then he heals 5% damage every 5 seconds, so this could be a very, very challenging battle. Unless you have some sort of reflector like Wolf does, then this match becomes super, super easy. You just have to sit there and reflect the projectiles and have, well, a lot of patience. Now, there was a brief moment where I didn't take my own advice. I wanted to go for like an offstage, like down air spike, but I missed, and then I didn't recover back onto the stage, so I lost a stock.
Skill issue.
Seriously, why can't I not just be patient? That's the one thing I need in this battle. But after several more grueling minutes, I did find the perfect opportunity to end things, and I did so with a nice forward smash. Alright, Wolf just got me a pretty easy win, we'll say, so let's see if I can keep him around a little bit longer as Samus now steps in to the ring as the next challenger. I'm also going to be using another item, and this time it's the Super Scope. Now, unlike the green shell from a couple games ago, the Super Scope did indeed play a factor into this game. As Samus was wielding it, I attempted a few attacks, but I didn't seem to have enough reach on my attacks, and then I got blasted in the face with the Super Scope for my efforts.
Kaboom.
Now, as this battle continued to wage on, it was, well, a lot of slow kind of chip damage. There weren't a lot of big move attacks being used, but I did finally get a chance to utilize the Super Scope myself, charged it up, timed the jumping perfectly with Samus, and kaboom, got Samus. Now we got things all tied up, and we're being, well, me being in one-shot range here. I had to kind of play very slow and kind of methodical if I wanted to keep Wolf around, if I wanted him to survive. And I guess I didn't want Wolf to survive because I spammed a few attacks, missed all of them, and then got hit with the Super Scope, meaning Wolf no longer exists. Okay. My new plan is now, again, an old plan because I had to bring King K. Rool back out. I swear, if I ever lose King K. Rool, this challenge is going to go downhill extremely fast. But I believe it was last episode where I faced Dark Samus, and I defeated Dark Samus with King K. Rool, so I was hoping K. Rool can defeat regular Samus, right? History repeat itself sort of deal, right? And I did get a satisfying start with a bludgeoning back air. A bit later though, I kind of semi-juggled Samus, we'll say, for a bit of an ultra-effective up air that connected with Samus right between the cheeks. Samus then got a little bit of revenge as she did manage to pop my shield. Then, as things were winding down, Samus managed to snag me out of the air with a grab, and for like a very brief second, like worry just flashed across my face. I thought I was done for right here, but as luck would have it, I survived that somehow, and then showed Samus once again why I wear the crown. Alright, Chrom is up next, and one thing that I had hoped to accomplish for this challenge in the Amiibo Nuzlocke was to 3-stock at least one Amiibo, and it hasn't happened up until this point, and I don't think it was going to because, well, the Amiibo only get tougher from here, but if I was going to do it, maybe now is the perfect time to do it, because Chrom made this extremely possible for me because I absolutely demolished him with a down air, and I still had yet to take any sort of damage. Now, a little bit later on, I still have all 3 stocks intact. I showed off my new move for when I go to the pool this summer. Now, once again, still having all 3 stocks. Perfectly fine. All of them are there. I was staring my first possible 3-stock in the face, so I collected my thoughts. I stomped on Chrom. I bellied Chrom, and then I got him in the perfect position for a dashing down air, giving me my first 3-stock victory in this challenge.